All right. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to our fourth webinar today in the 90-day book challenge. So great to have you guys with me on today's live webinar, as always. And thanks for turning out. I think today's webinar is going to clarify a lot of things, and we're going to definitely kind of streamline things and organize a lot of the different options that you have in front of you based on what we've presented so far. So I'm seeing definitely a little bit of confusion around the all the different features and options and opportunities that are out there in terms of distribution and publishing and formatting and all of this stuff. So we're going to talk about that today a little bit in depth for sure. So today is largely about organization and clarity for you. And we're also going to spend some time today talking about how to find a proofreader and editor for your work if you so desire, and why you should do that, when you should do it. That's an important conversation to have. I'm also going to talk today a little bit about print-on-demand publishing, self-publishing industry, and just a little more details about what to consider there and how to know, who to choose, and just making sure that you guys have the right game plan if you want to get your book published and self-published. I'm also going to talk today a little bit about if you're doing a free ebook or a free report as your main project for this program, just a little bit more about what you do with that and how you set it up on your site and how that whole process works, okay? So I've seen quite a few questions coming in about that as well. So I just want to make sure that process is clear to you guys. And we are also going to focus a little bit on structuring your website and your blog the right way, okay? Because I've seen other questions about that. It just seems like people are a little bit confused about like how to make sure that their book is integrated into their site effectively, and just making sure that you have all that in place, okay? So we are 2 months into this 3-month program, so obviously it's starting to wind down. I can't believe how fast this all goes by. It's amazing, isn't it? And we're seeing some great things in our group. I mean, I could definitely tell that the vast majority of you are taking action. You're working hard. You're doing your daily writing. Quite a few of you already have your covers done. You're starting to get your manuscript just about there, it looks like, and that's fantastic. So if you are still lagging behind a little bit, or you have a lot of work to do, well, we have a month together to make that final push and make sure that you reach your goal and accomplish this before the deadline of 1 more month. So let's all get it done, shall we? I spoke last week or 2 weeks ago on the webinar before Tiffany from Seven Right took over quite a bit about inspiration and just keeping your focus on the end goal and really knowing what your why is as an author. Why are you doing this? What is the purpose of your work? And this is the time, especially as you're kind of hitting the end point of this program, to really clarify that and to just up the inspiration, motivation level for yourself as much as you can and get that project finalized, because it is extremely gratifying to have your book done, to get your ebook up there live on the internet for sale, or to get your published book in your hands. It's a great feeling, and a lot of you guys are inching closer to that, and it's really, really good to see. So we have some amazing people in this group. I mean, I'm definitely noticing that. Some really smart, bright, committed folks, and it's I also encourage you to just lean on others for support in this final month. And it's not only me leading the way. We have a lot of people who are doing some pretty amazing work out there. And, I can tell just from the topics that they're writing on, it's amazing stuff. These are books that are genuinely intended to help this world in a variety of ways. So know that you have a significant contribution to make as well. And, whenever you feel that voice of doubt kicking in, get into our group and post something to get a little support or motivation. And, I think that's why we're here together. It's community as much as anything else. So let's all make that final push. It's like, we're about 18 miles into a marathon right now, and we have just a few more miles to go. So let's get it done, okay? And definitely let me know how I can help you. So during the course of today's webinar, I'm going to make it a little more interactive. So if you have questions about anything really related to your book, whether it's today's topic at hand or really anything, you should see a question field in the control panel area for the webinar here. So feel free to just type in questions that you are currently working with or you're confused about, whatever it is, and I'm happy to help you out during the webinar today as well. So feel free to type in questions anytime. I'm just going to keep that open more or less, or check in every few minutes just to make sure that you guys are staying on track, that you're clear on everything that we're doing here, all right? So the first thing that I wanted to show you, and this is just to kind of reinforce in real time here how quickly this can all happen. I posted something, a few days ago about jumping into the challenge with you and getting my ebook done, a new one that I had been thinking about for some time. Which for me, like the way that I decide to write an ebook, it's largely an intuitive process. Like I'm not that logical about it in terms of like doing all this market research and who's my competition and, is it saturated or is it not? I always feel like my intuition is going to guide me to the right choice, and it's really the basis of creating unique content that gets noticed. So I had an intuitive hit a couple weeks ago that I wanted to write a short ebook on the inner dimension of internet marketing, because that's a topic I think that actually is extremely important that often goes overlooked, which is how do you succeed at marketing your stuff online from more of an inner perspective, more about the mindset work and really understanding psychologically, spiritually, emotionally what it is that sells online and how to persevere and not allow yourself to procrastinate or succumb to self-doubt, things like that. So, what I did is I got that intuitive hit that would be a good thing to do. I didn't do any market research on it or anything. It's like, oh, well, how many people have already done this? I don't really care because I just feel like I bring something pretty unique to the table. And, I already have a built-in audience of people that I think will like that content that I can market it to. So for me, it doesn't really matter, if internet marketing field is saturated or whatever. It's just, I do things based on solely like an inspiration to do them. And for me, that always works better than looking at it too logically. Because if I look at my projects too logically, it often leads to analysis paralysis for me, and it just kind of stunts that creative flow. So whatever sparks you, whatever excites you the most about your work and about helping others, you really just want to trust that and write from that place and know that if you're marketing well and you're building out your audience, you'll have that built-in network of people that you can sell your book to, and that's really all you need, at least up front, to get that initial momentum and those sales coming in. So what I did was I got that intuitive hit, and then I was like, okay, so how can I create this ebook quickly? Because I am really busy and I don't really want to sit in front of my computer for, hours and hours just cranking out this content. So what I did is just what I taught you guys. I got on a conference or a line with myself and just picked up the phone and recorded it using Audio Acrobat, which I posted links to in our group. And I spoke for, I had a rough outline that I spoke off of about this topic. And I actually ended up speaking for about an hour just straight because, this is a topic that I know well, and I've coached on it a lot, and it's kind of second nature, as is a lot of the content that you guys have to share. So, I went over to Fiverr and I had a transcriptionist for $20, basically do the entire manuscript. And I just got that back this morning. So it took a little longer than I was hoping. But that's fine. I'm not in a huge hurry to get it done. But we can see here, like I just got this back like an hour ago, and you can just, you can see like this is a lot of content that I just got created here within an hour's time on my end. So this is 11,500 words right now, and it's crammed. It's just packed with text here, 20 pages in a Word doc. Now I can easily take this and format it, space it, put some images in it, and get anywhere from 35, easily 35, probably more like 40 to 50 pages minimally out of this content alone. But I've already thought of more content I want to add. So what I'm going to do is spend about another 3 to 4 hours total on this project, doing my own editing and proofreading, and adding probably about another 5 to 7,000 words of text to it, and then it'll be good to go. It'll probably be around 50 to 60 pages. I can sell that for like $4.99 on Kindle and all the other platforms, or something like that. Or I can just use it as a lead generation tool to fill my next coaching program, and give it away for free for a period of time if I want. So it opens up options to have something like this. And, if I were to sit down in front of my computer and type all of this, that would have taken me probably about 7 to 10 times as long, easily. And it's just overwhelming. Like, it's daunting to think about that. So for me, this is a great strategy. It works really well because, if you can get 35, 40 pages of good content in an hour's time, I mean, you can crank out ebooks and short little books, just at will. And it's really not hard to do. So on Fiverr, I can post a link to the transcriptionist that I used. But I also used her for proofreading and editing this. I spent like an extra $15 for her to go through and tighten it up. On that end, I was not satisfied. She did a good job transcribing it. She just did not do a very good job proofing it because looking at it for 10 minutes, I found many grammatical issues and typos that I'm going to have to go through and clean up. And I might actually just go use one of the resources that I'm going to share today for proofreading if I just don't want to deal with it. So, on Fiverr, you have to be, obviously it's going to be a little hit or miss for $5, but to get this whole thing transcribed for $20 is a really, really good deal. I was thrilled with that. And, to get a manuscript edited well for $15, it's probably not that realistic, but you can certainly use Fiverr and try and just see how it goes. It's pretty hit or miss with things like that, though. So I'm going to talk about editing and proofing in a little upgraded way today. So it's it's a lot safer bet that they're going to do a good job for you. So this is, I just wanted to show this mostly to inspire you guys and to give you a clear sense of what's possible. And, what if you just got in the habit of like once every 2 weeks, hopping on a conference line with a small audience or just by yourself, talking about a specific topic that you're very knowledgeable on, going over and getting it transcribed, doing some basic editing on it, and you're just cranking out these short ebooks left and right. It's just really about forming a positive habit around something like that. And, hopefully you enjoy it and it's something that's fun to you. But it's really one of the most powerful ways that you can build your business because it's not only like the passive income that comes in, which may, for some ebooks is going to be great. And for others, they're going to strike out and they're not going to be that great. It's really, it really depends on the topic and how good the title is and how much demand there is for the subject. But if you have your ebooks listed on your website and you're trying to get more clients, if they see that you're a prolific author, that is just tremendous marketing and it helps your cause so much because people are out there window shopping and they do oftentimes go through and review a lot of different options, check out different sites, kind of get a sense of what people are doing differently. And, a lot of people are very judicious in the way that they invest in anything, let alone their healthcare or personal growth, whatever it is. So if they come to your site and you've positioned yourself as a leading, thought leader and an author, that really is almost an unfair advantage in terms of just getting clients and ideal clients, and building your business. So I posted for you guys in the group this week as well a copy of my book, The Purpose Principle. And I just wanted to touch briefly on what I did with that in my practice as well. So I would read that book and just kind of peruse it and get a sense of how I structured the content and mostly like how I shared a lot of stories in that book. And that took a lot of the burden of writing away from me because it's really easy to write stories out and, much easier than like sharing in-depth concepts and thoughts. So on every chapter, I pretty much had a case study that reinforced my main points. And that's a fantastic way to sell what I do because if I'm talking about patients that I worked with in my practice and the transformative experience they went through in our work together, that is going to sway the reader in the direction of wanting to work with me as well. So it's the art of selling without selling. That's a lot of what your book should do for you. But what I did with that book, I really wasn't thinking of it so much as a lead generation tool for my practice because my practice was already pretty darn busy by the time I got that book out. But I knew it was going to help. There's, it's just like icing on the cake. But what I did do with it is I did a Borders book launch. So I had Borders stock the book in their office, or I'm sorry, not in their office, in their business. And then I also arranged a day where I could come in and they set up a table for me and we did a big promotional thing for it. So I had a bunch of my patients come and of course my friends and whatnot. And I just got to hang out there for like 6 hours and everybody that was walking into Borders saw my book with me, and I had my business cards out there. So, I mean, that is really, really good marketing if you can do stuff like that. It's really out of the box, and it works probably better than just about anything in terms of positioning yourself as the expert, right? So, on top of that, the patients that you're currently working with or the clients, if they come to a book signing or if they see your book in Borders or somewhere like that, they're going to be really blown away by that. And a lot of what causes people to refer to your business is actually sort of like a popularity thing. Like, of course there's results and just, getting people better. But underneath that, there's a more subtle process at work where if they feel like they're seeing somebody of notoriety, they almost want to like brag about that. And it's just kind of human nature where like, hey, guess what? I'm seeing so and so and they just came out with a published book and you can get it at Borders. And they almost feel like they're like special because they get to, have a one-on-one service by an author, by somebody that's done something kind of unique. So I always look at your book as a really powerful referral generator for that. Because it gets people talking. It just builds buzz. They're bragging about working with you. And so on a more specific level, though, what I did a lot was just hand out free copies of my book. So I gave away my book to all of my patients especially the ones that I felt like were ideal for my practice. They loved working with me. And what I did is I just told them to spread the word. And I said, hey, I'd like to just give you a copy of this. And if you know somebody else that could benefit, I'll give you another copy. So I would just even give away 2 or 3 copies at a time, more or less as referral generators for my practice. And that worked really, really well. So really easy to do that. And, I was using this company, Mill City Press. So I was only paying like $4, $3.90 per book. So, I was taking a little bit of a hit, $3, $4 a pop to get those books out in the community through my patients. But I mean, it worked great. The return on investment was, way beyond what I had to spend to get those books published. And, if you're leading with your book as a marketing tool, you will always attract higher quality clients to your work based on that, because they're going to consume your material. They're going to like what you have to say. They're going to align with your vision and your words, your message, and then they're going to call you from that place. So it's a lot warmer of a prospect coming in to see you rather than somebody that's is brand new to your work and just random and doesn't really know you that well. Matthew, I'm going to pull up the Mill City site here in just one sec, so hang in there with me. So just just use all of this as more inspirational fuel that you can do it. And if you're looking to build out your current practice or business, get that book done. And what we want to do then is use it as a front-end marketing tool. You want to position that book front and center on your website and make sure it really stands out. And actually what I'll do, I'm going to hop over to my acupuncture website, which I no longer use, but it's still up. And I'm going to show you just how that looked, like what I did on my site real quick. Hold on one sec. And this, by the way, is a good site for you to model in terms of your practice or your business. This site works extremely well for me. I don't really use it much for anything anymore because I'm not actively practicing right now, but when I was in the thick of it, this site worked really well for me. But you can see if you scroll kind of towards the bottom on the homepage, I have my book positioned front and center on the homepage, and then I have an endorsement by Larry Dossey here, who wrote, he's written a whole bunch of really, really good books. The Healing Words, The Power of Premonitions. He's a New York Times bestselling author. So I got him to give me a great endorsement for this book, and also Brian Tracy wrote a nice endorsement for this book. And when you get endorsements like that as well, that is really, really awesome for social proof and just credibility. Not everybody's going to know who Larry Dossey is who visits my site, but I mean, it looks it looks important. I mean, there's a lot of perceived expertise at work there, and it makes a big difference for the person who's kind of considering your services and wondering if this is the right fit for them. So just really quickly, and this kind of brings up another subject about getting these endorsements. What I did was I actually just made a big list of all of the people that I would love to get endorsements from, and what I realized is that it's extremely difficult to do this, especially with like A-list people in personal development or health and wellness, like Wayne Dyer or Deepak Chopra or Andrew Weil, people of this magnitude. Unless you have some connection, directly to them, it's almost impossible to get access to them. So I reached out to maybe like 50 of these people, and I only got 2 responses. And I was kind of bummed about that at first, but then I realized, you know what? 2 is way better than 0, because I got Brian Tracy to endorse the book and he gave a really nice recommendation for it. And, I've had many people just comment on that and say, wow, that's awesome. And, that's definitely a really powerful thing. And, Larry Dossey. So what I would do is still pursue this and reach out to these people, and you just never know. I mean, I have no like real formal way of doing this. What I did is just went to their website, and for all of them, I basically just shot them a quick email just saying, I wrote a book. I'd love to have you check it out. And I think for a few of them, I'm trying to refresh myself, but for a few of them, their secretary or their receptionist replied and said, yes, please send a copy to this address. And then I did, but I never heard anything from them and they never followed up or anything. So that can be a little frustrating. So you have to realize this takes a lot of perseverance and patience just to get, high-end endorsements like that. You can also just get their physical mailing address and send them a copy of your book and send them a nice letter and just tell them why you wrote the book and just make it really heartfelt and just see if they have time to peruse it and if they wouldn't mind just giving you a nice endorsement for it. I mean, that's really what I did with Larry and Brian, and it worked well with them. So some of these folks are accessible, and they really go out of their way to take care of their audience. Which is really nice. Most of them, though, are not that approachable. Dr. Oz, I tried to get an endorsement from. They were almost downright like rude in their response. Just basically like, no, we don't have time for this, and just not very nice about it. So you'll get a mixed range of reaction from people in terms of promoting your book for you or getting these endorsements. Let me know. You can pop a question into the question field now if you have any questions about getting notable celebrity endorsements or anything like that. I mean, it's not an area I'm like a super expert in or anything, but I did okay with this, obviously. What works better, I think, than seeking out like New York Times bestselling authors is actually to do a Google search of bloggers, and this can work really well. Do a Google search of bloggers in your niche or in your industry, and find the ones that have an obvious fan base, that it's a popular blog, and they are doing really well. And then make a swipe file of those people. So they may not be like, household names or anything, but on the internet, in their niche, people definitely are aware of them. So for instance, like if I was in the paleo niche, I might just type in a few keywords into Google, and I would look to see who's on the first page of Google. So like this one here, the paleodiet.com, I would, whoever's on this first page in these top spots for a generic keyword like paleo, they're doing really well. I mean, they're getting a ton of traffic to their site without question for just being ranked in that spot for that keyword. So I would make a list of all of these people, like Lauren here, and just go to their contact page right here. And I would read a little bit about what they say in terms of joint ventures or guest blogging, things like that. But what you want to do is just get a big list of these people and just have them on file. So the options are pretty numerous in terms of what you can do to help these people, for these people to cross promote with you. First of all, what I would start with is guest blogging and see if they would welcome a blog post from you that was chock full of value and that just had a lot of substance to it, and that would really help their audience. If you look at, you guys probably know Timothy Ferriss. He's another A-lister out there right now. What's his site? 4hourworkweek.com. Yeah, you can check out Timothy Ferriss at 4hourworkweek.com. Hold on, let me pull that up. And he wrote this book, The 4 Hour Work Week, which is a great book, by the way. I think everybody should read that book at some point. But this book launched his career, his platform as a New York Times best-selling author, and he's written a bunch of really popular books. He's a multimillionaire. He's super talented. But the main way that he got his book out there into the world is guest blogging. So he did exactly what I'm telling you to do now. He made a huge list of people in his industry or that were even related at all, and found the most popular bloggers in his space. And he guest blogged for all of those people as best that he could. And then they all linked back to his website and promoted his book for him. And these are people with email lists of, 10,000 all the way up to 400,000 people. So if you're getting website owners out there, bloggers who have huge databases and big social media followings to promote your work, that's the instant exposure, instant sales. So if you follow Timothy's blog, he has a lot to say about this topic, and you can spend all day on his blog. He has some really awesome content. But you can even do a Google search for, Timothy Ferriss guest blogging, and you'll get all kinds of tips on how to do this. Of course, this is a time-consuming venture. You'd have to delegate a fair amount of your time to finding these resources and actually creating the content for their audience. But it's really one of the very best strategies to get your work out into the world. Okay. What's cool about that too is if you make a connection with people that maybe aren't A-listers, they're not like super celebrities, but they're really still very popular. Well, they're a lot easier to get a hold of, like night and day easier to connect with. And in your industry, if they give you testimonials and endorsements, people that are considering buying your book will have heard of these centers of influence, and they'll be much more likely to buy from you based on those kinds of recommendations. So this is a great strategy, and I definitely recommend that you pursue it wholeheartedly. And it's right up there with everything we're going to be talking about in the next two webinars on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube, and using your own social media platforms to build your audience. You definitely want to use other people's platforms as well. So this is all based on the assumption that you have great content to share and that your book is really good, because a person that's has notoriety, what they're mostly going to be concerned about is the value that their audience gets from your material. So they are going to look at your book through probably a more critical lens than the average consumer, because their reputation is on the line if they're promoting you. So they're just going to want to know that your content is really rich and has substance and will really benefit their audience. And if it does, that makes it 100% easier to get in the door with people like this. So once again, you just want to make sure that you're really writing from a powerful space, and that it comes through, that people really feel the value of what you're offering, and then it just sells itself, and it's not that hard to get in with people like this. Using guest blogging alone, I can't remember the exact stats on Timothy's book, but he basically blew away uh, a lot of the traditional marketing strategies that big publishers would use, and just distributing the book through Barnes and Noble and major distribution chains online and offline. Just through guest blogging, he got like way better results than he ever could have just using traditional marketing. So definitely, play around with that and make that. To start with this week, I would just make that swipe file. And one of the ways, so I'll show you a couple things here. One of the ways you can assess popularity is just if they're on the first page of Google for big keywords like paleo, or let's see, some of you guys are writing about, what's another one, like hypnosis. If you type in hypnosis and somebody like a private website owner is on the first page for that, I mean, they're doing well. I mean, they're an authority site, and Google recognizes that, and they're getting a lot of traffic. Like for this keyword, once again, if I just scroll down, we see like Rob Wolf is number 3. So he would be definitely like a heavy hitter to cross market with in the paleo niche, because he has a huge audience, and he's well respected. He does infomercials. He's not like a household name, but he's right up there, man, and he's not that hard to get a hold of. I know that firsthand because I'm working with a client in the paleo niche, and she's gotten a couple of endorsements from him on her work. So another way that I would assess popularity, let's just go back to this first example, is you can look at the Alexa ranking of a blog or a website. If you just type into Google Alexa toolbar, it's a little software that you download, and it'll just show up here right underneath your web browser. And the lower this number is, the more traffic this website is getting. So an Alexa rank of like 50,000 is really, really good. That shows me that this site is getting, I mean, I can't say for sure, but thousands of unique visitors every month, definitely. The higher this number is, the worse their traffic is. So if you're getting, down to under 100,000, you're definitely, that Alexa rank is showing you this is a really popular site that gets a lot of traffic. And if they have an opt-in form here where they're building their email list, which most of these sites will, you can pretty much rest assured that they have a big email list. And if they will promote to their email list on your behalf, that alone could set you up quickly with selling books and just selling your services through their network. Usually they're going to want an affiliate cut or some sort of commission split based on that. And that's something that we can talk a little bit more about that if you have questions about that in terms of how to structure it. But ideally, like if a heavy hitter like this guy was promoting your work, they would want not just half of a $10 ebook sale, so that's only $5 a sale. They would want you to be like upselling from your book to a more expensive service that you offer, whether it's group coaching or virtual consulting or even seeing you in your practice, whatever it is, and they would want a cut of that too, most likely. So this works really well in the group coaching model because you're not really trading time for money in that model, and you can leverage your time more effectively. So pretty much everybody that I see in this program could do this in terms of structuring your own group programs based on your book, and then using affiliate partners like this to help you promote it. And it's just instant exposure, potentially thousands of people seeing your work. So in a niche like this, like paleo, I mean, you have just endless options to choose from. Like this would be like another popular one. I think her website is thepaleomom.com. So she is also one of the thought leaders in the paleo industry. We see her Alexa ranking as 41,000. The other thing that I would do on these sites is go to their Facebook page and and see how big their fan page following is. And you can see right here, she has 237,000 people following her on Facebook, which is, she has an enormous audience, just enormous. And she's engaged. I mean, she has over 32,000 people talking about her page. She's doing a really good job with her marketing. And this is somebody that, once again, she's not an A-lister. She's not like, widely recognized around the world, but in the paleo niche, she is killing it. And probably has, I'm imagining, like a 7-figure business doing what she's doing with her audience that big. So if she was to, she probably has an email list of 50 to 100,000 people. If you were writing a book on nutrition or anything related at all to what she was doing, that was maybe not even paleo, but had a unique slant on nutrition and minimizing gluten and whatever, just anything that's even remotely related that her audience could benefit from, well, this is a person you could reach out to, introduce yourself, just connect with her on her fan page, start promoting some of her stuff and sharing, liking her content. Like really go out of your way to be generous and to help her spread the word about her content. And then and comment on her stuff and say how good it is, comment on her blog. Just get to know her more or less informally instead of just like upfront, like pitching your stuff to her. And then over time, as she's maybe interacting with you more, you would then just say, oh, by the way, I'm releasing a book on, whole foods nutrition soon. I'd love for you to check it out and see if it's going to be of value to your audience. And I mean, this is just one of the very best ways to strike up powerful collaborations and sell a lot more of your work to people for sure. So you can do this for any niche, any keyword, anything that has to do with helping people and solving problems. You can just go over to Google and make a huge swipe file of blogs that will be incredible partners for you potentially. A few of you guys I've seen are doing like tapping stuff, EFT. So once again, same idea. I would go over and type in different keywords that are just kind of generic and see who's on the first page for that. And you know, just spend a little time making a big database of popular websites and blogs in that niche, and just seeing. And another idea is YouTube. Like go over to YouTube. If you see YouTube videos that are ranked high, and you can see this guy has a YouTube video on EFT with 347,000 views. What that shows me is he's really popular. Excuse me. He's really popular and he's obviously doing really well. So he has a link to his website right there. I'd go ahead and click through to that, to his blog. And you can see his Alexa ranking isn't as good. It's about 2 million, so he's not getting as much traffic, but still that YouTube video alone would show me that he's a center of influence, that he probably has a pretty strong database of clients that he works with, of people that follow him. I'd go through to his Facebook. See, it's interesting. He only has 318 likes on his fan page, so that's nothing. But he has a YouTube video with a lot of action on it. Now, what I'd also do for somebody like this is I'd subscribe to their YouTube channel. And then what I would do is go through and click his YouTube channel link and find his other videos and see if he has other videos that are that popular as well, or if maybe he just got lucky with one of them. Sometimes videos just go viral and it's kind of a random process. But you can look at all of his videos here and see if some of them have also gotten a lot of views. And that will show you the level of popularity he has as well. So pretty cool stuff, huh? I would be using these approaches a lot in your marketing. Matthew, cross-blogging seems like a precursor to JV partnership. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, so a lot of the time you want to lead with a cross-blogging proposal rather than will you promote my stuff? Because if they see a blog post that you've written and they really like it, they're like, wow, this is really good. This guy knows his stuff. They're going to be a lot more likely to partner up with you and promote your work. And some of these people don't even really care so much about the affiliate commissions. They really are more about providing value to their audience. And if they feel like your work is just really solid, they're gonna promote even if they don't make a huge commission off of it. So it's kind of split down the middle on that one. Some of them definitely want the money and they want to make, you know, potentially thousands of dollars off of your work if they're going to promote to their list. Some of them don't really care so much, and they're more about building value, and they know that the more value they share, the more money they're going to make anyway. So yes, good question, Matthew. Absolutely, start with promotion, guest blogging, and then see if it leads to a JV partnership. Cynthia, will these webinars be available to review even after the 90 days? I'm writing my book, may not be able to apply all this right away. Yes, Cynthia, you'll have pretty much lifelong access to these webinars. So I'll just be keeping our Facebook group open for as long as I'm alive. Hopefully that's a long time. And you know, you'll have access to them down the road. Okay, for sure. Matthew, I missed where you got that analytics data. How do you search to get that rating and the Alexa ranking? So you can just go over to Google, type in Alexa toolbar. Right here, alexa.com/toolbar. You just download this and it'll automatically pop up then in your right underneath your web browser. Or you can just go to alexa.com and you can manually type in a website to see its Alexa ranking. But this, I use this a lot like in the personal development space. So like Matthew, for you, I know that you're doing the EFT tapping work, and a lot of you guys are more or less in the personal development space as well. Even if you're doing something on health, a lot of you are tying it back into spirituality or to personal growth, emotional work, things of that nature. So what you can even do is go to Google and type in most popular personal development blogs. And look at here. This is one of the links that I found recently that I thought was really good. This guy actually went out of his way to create a huge blog post that highlights all of the most popular personal development blogs. And what I'll do is actually make note of this link and I can post it in our group. But yeah, some bloggers go out of their way to compile resources for their readers, which is really nice because you can see if you scroll down, he breaks it all up according to their Alexa ranking, who the site owner is, what their page rank is. So Google gives a page rank to every site to show their level of authority. So a page rank of 4 is very good. A page rank of 6 is outstanding. 5 is outstanding. So that shows that these, like Zen Habits is one of the most popular sites on the internet, and they have a page rank of 6. So he's basically found the most like reputable sites in personal growth. And what you can do is go through this list one by one, and or similar lists for whatever you're trying to do, and find the ones that accept guest bloggers. They'll basically say on their site a lot of the time if they take guest blog posts, because it's just pretty much instant exposure if you can get connected with a blog like this or any of these, because they're all super popular. And basically, like if I just click a random one like prolificliving.com, let's try that one. I would just spend like 2 or 3 minutes on that site and probably go to their contact page and see if they say anything about guest blogging. No guest posts or link swapping or free advertising. So some of them, excuse me, some of them allow advertising, paid advertising on their site. And sometimes those are very good opportunities, like putting these little banner ads on their site. All of this would need to be tested, and you just need to see if it's converting for you. But some of them allow you to do this for very cheap, and it's extremely targeted traffic where you might pay like $50 a month or something like that. They put this nice banner on their site. They're getting a ton of traffic. It's all aligned with your target market. And you can then link it to like a lead capture page or to your blog or something like that. That can work really well, but I prefer to try to do it for free to start with, and just find sites that do allow guest blogging. One of the ones that I know does is mindbodygreen.com. Many of you guys could easily write for this site. And they have a link on here somewhere. This is a very content rich site, very popular. You see it on Facebook all the time. Huge blog, and they accept guest posts from all kinds of people. But this is just, it's pretty much instant exposure to just write like a 500-word post. Somewhere on their site here, if you just fish around a little bit, you would find the instructions on how to post for them. I'm just going to scroll through and see if I can find that. They have a lot going on this site, obviously. Community. I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but yeah, I mean, all these sites, you just need to fish around and just kind of get a sense of what they allow, what their instructions are, their guidelines, and then just follow their instructions carefully. Oh, so at the very bottom of the site, it says write for us. So it's just mindbodygreen.com/contribute. Every one of us in this program could easily write for this site, and you would get a fair amount of traffic just from that. And they accept articles from 250 to 800 words. So how long would it take you to write a 300-word article to submit? Maybe like 20 minutes, and that's just, you put a link to your website at the end of the article. And I click through from this site to other websites all the time because they have pretty good articles here. So that's a great resource as well. I'm just seeing if there are any other questions popping up. Okay. Vivian, I'm going to answer your question as we go along here, but I got a little off topic. I wasn't planning on spending this much time talking about guest blogging, but I hope you guys enjoyed that. It's a super powerful strategy, and this is all just motivation too, to just keep your project alive and keep it going, see it through to the end, because this is just a clear roadmap for getting the exposure you need to sell your work and to just brand yourself in the right way. So guest blogging is awesome. It's a super powerful strategy, and let me know if you have any other questions, either on this webinar or in our group. So let's go through a list of other things we want to talk about today. Let's talk about print on demand first. So some of you guys have been asking about that. And just really, I want to actually spend a little time talking about distribution and clarifying what I would recommend. So you have, a couple basic options in front of you. And really what I've tried to do in this program is present ultimately like the most simple and cheap option. And what that is basically taking your ebook, doing all of the cover design, formatting, all the basic proofreading, pretty much doing all of that on a site like Fiverr, and then just uploading it to Amazon Kindle. That is by far the cheapest, the fastest way to do this. And there are benefits to that. There are disadvantages to that. The benefit is, of course, the ease of delivery, the ease of distribution. It's super easy to go over to Amazon.com and set up your ebook. You don't have to jump through any of those hoops like getting an ISBN number or worrying about setting it up in different formats. It's just, it's a very standard process where you can have somebody on Fiverr convert your Word document into a .mobi format and upload it directly to the Kindle server, and it's just super easy. So really the benefit of that is ease and just cheap. It's cheap, I mean, you can do that whole project for 20, 30 bucks. It's not hard to do and it's super inexpensive. The downside of that is that you're basically missing out on a lot of other opportunities out there. So that would include print on demand publishing, and the dozens of other platforms out there that are growing very quickly, as Tiffany mentioned in the last webinar. So you want to make a decision on your project in terms of what's the most important thing for you right now. Is it just ease and convenience of just getting your first project done and just using Kindle to just upload it and boom, it's done, super easy? Or do you want to take it to the next level and have your project submitted across multiple platforms all over the internet, including iTunes and Barnes and Noble and all of the up and coming ones? So the cool thing about SevenWrite is that they take your book and they basically distribute it to all of these other platforms, convert it into the right format automatically by using their service. So that would be the first decision that I'd make is which way do I want to go? Do I want to go the simple Kindle route and just get it done and to see how it does? Or do I want to like blow it up a lot more and get it all over the internet and all of the most popular distribution places? And then to do that, if you use SevenWrite, of course, you're going to have to pay a little bit more than you would through Kindle. Or you can try to do that yourself, which is what I don't really recommend doing that. It's a pain in the butt to get all of your books formatted the right way and distributed to all these different places. I would much rather see you spend your time just writing more and marketing and doing guest blogging rather than tinkering around with every distribution site on the planet out there. It's just painfully boring, and honestly, it's just your time is better spent elsewhere. That's where SevenWrite would come in and make that a really easy process for you. Now, SevenWrite also has the print on demand option, which is really cool. So they can basically serve as like an all-in-one platform for you to get your ebook distributed all over the internet and all the major distribution channels, and also your published book. So they can self-publish your book for you. So I think what they're doing is really cool. I think it's an awesome service. And yeah, I mean, you always have to choose in business between time and money on a certain level. Do you want to invest more time into this, or do you want to invest more money? And if it's at all an option, you want to outsource low leveraging activities, things that other people can do a lot faster and easier, but you have to pay for those things. And then you save your valuable time for marketing, guest blogging, promoting your content on social media, and writing more books, creating more products. The highest leveraging place you can spend your time is doing that. You're a product creator, you're an innovator, and you're a marketer. You're not like a technician. You're not a web designer. You're not, a virtual assistant who can go out there and just do all these kind of minutia details. Those are low leveraging activities that you should outsource to either a virtual assistant or to just using a service like SevenWrite, who just takes care of literally the dirty work for you, because that stuff is pretty painful to do, and it's honestly not where you should be spending your time. So then the other main decision you would have to make is, if you did want to go the print on demand route, which option is best for you? So You have you have many options in terms of self-publishing platforms out there. I've done a lot of the research on that, and I did this research a few years ago when I was getting the Purpose Principle out there. And really, once again, it kind of comes down to there's the ease and the cheapness of upfront just getting it out there and getting it done. And if that's more your kind of priority right now, I really don't think Seven Right is very expensive for what they're doing. It's a pretty darn good deal. So you would want to either use Seven Right to distribute your book for you, and they take royalties on each book sale. But it's easy and it gets you out there. Or similarly, you could use CreateSpace by Amazon. So it's just createspace.com. And this is just Amazon's self-publishing platform, basically. And this is really, really easy to use. It's just, there's no upfront cost for doing it unless you need to have your book formatted differently for their platform. They do have people that can help you with that. I have the Purpose Principle on CreateSpace right now, and I had to pay $100 to get it formatted correctly to upload it to their server for people to buy it. But it's a really easy option, and you're also leveraging Amazon's network, which is huge. I mean, people are going to see your book then on Amazon. If they're typing in different keywords, your book's a lot more likely to pop up. So the problem with it, though, is that they take a pretty good chunk of each book sale. I don't remember exactly what it is. If you just go to createspace.com and watch their earning royalties video here, you can get the breakdown of how much they take per book sale. But I'm selling quite a few of the Purpose Principle through there right now, and it's a $16 book. And it looks like they're taking at least half of that, maybe a little bit more on each sale, which is pretty high in my opinion. But it's a really easy platform to use. They have a lot of visibility, and it does work. A lot of authors choose that route just because it's simple. The other option that I would recommend is Mill City Press. So I researched all of the companies out there, like I think Lulu and iUniverse. There are many of them out there. Mill City, I think, is one of the best out there. And I would use this option if you're pretty darn confident that you can market your book on your own through like guest blogging and social media. And you have your own platform that you want to build off of. So you don't really care so much about like using Amazon's platform to get sales. You're more independent and you just think you can do it on your own. Which is what I did. So when I started, when I got my book out there initially, I used Mill City Press. And the cool thing, so the advantage of using Mill City is that their per print book cost for you is cheaper than anybody I've found in the industry. So for the Purpose Principle, $16 book, I think it was like $3.90 per book I was paying or something like that, which was actually very, very good. Whereas other companies like, Amazon, like I said, they charge $8, $9, $10 easily per book sale. And if you're selling a fair amount of your books, of course, that makes a big difference. That starts to add up a lot. But that's the real advantage that they offer. I feel like is they are just the cheapest in the business in terms of per print book costs. And you can order as many or as little of your books as you need and sell them in your practice, in your office. You can configure it for drop shipment through their site. So if people order through your website, it can all just be handled for you. You don't have to manually do anything from them. And same with CreateSpace. That's how it works. Mill City is a great option if you're more independent. The downside is if we just click this will pretty much show you right away what the downside is. Their pricing. So to get started with them, it's $1,700 just for their basic package. And then it moves all the way up to like a $6,000 professional package. So I just did their basic package when I got started. And you can see it includes like a lot of the main things that you'd want, like the ISBN number, custom interior formatting, you get a physical proof. Excuse me, you get pretty much everything you need to get your book out there into the world. But yeah, it's $1,700 up front, and it's just cheaper per book cost, per printed book. So over time, if you're selling enough of your book, you're going to recoup that investment. All right. And they're great. I mean, I really enjoyed working with them. They were really professional and good customer service. So If you want to check them out, you can do a consult with them. Just click the contact us button, and they'll definitely be willing to answer any questions you have. Most of you guys, honestly, where you're at right now, my honest opinion would be to go the Kindle route or the 7-Write route, because I think it's helpful to leverage Amazon's platform. I think it's helpful to get sales through Amazon. And for most of you guys, the marketing piece is it's going to be a skill that you just develop over the next year or two. And it's going to kick into gear gradually down the road. As you really start learning social media and blogging strategies better and better, that'll translate to more sales. So unless you're already like a pretty skilled marketer, I would probably just leverage 7-Write or CreateSpace and their platform, or Kindle, okay? So I hope that kind of helps distinguish amongst the main options and gives you some clarity around how to distribute your book. I'm going to open it up now and see. Does anybody, okay, hold on. I see some questions popping up here. Can you do Amazon Kindle from Canada? Yes, you should be able to do Amazon Kindle from Canada, Vivian. I don't see why not. You could do a quick Google search on that. Matthew, what format? Matthew, were you talking about Kindle? It's .mobi or EPUB format for Kindle. So I'm just typing that in there, and hopefully everybody can see that in their control panel there. Does the Audio Acrobat number work from Canada? You would need to ask them that. Just go to audioacrobat.com and get their customer service on the line. I don't see why it wouldn't. I think it should. All right, so I think that's good. Let me know if you guys have any other questions about distribution. KOBO, I have not done that, Vivian, so I'm not aware of that. I get answers to a lot of those kinds of questions just off of Google, and just do like a Google search on comparing different options, different platforms, okay? But I have not used that particular one. But yeah, so hopefully this simplifies it, and it's not hard for you to really make that decision. Sorry if it was a little overwhelming last week. I think Tiffany was just coming at it from a different angle and showing you guys what the possibilities were. So just kind of assess what your main priorities are, and act accordingly, decide accordingly. And she's offering something I think really cool with that service. It's very reasonably priced for sure compared to a lot of these other services that format publish books and distribute them. So, okay, let me look at my next topic to dive into here. All right, so let's talk about, so I covered print on demand. We've talked about clarifying the distribution process. Let's talk about editing, proofreading your book a little bit. I put a link into our group, Facebook group earlier today, basically with just this link. And what I would recommend is, if you want a proofreader or editor for your book, I would go to elance.com. I think you're going to have a lot better luck with that site than Fiverr, because these are people that are actually reputable editors and proofreaders. And the main tip that I have for you on that is you definitely want to find somebody that's a native English speaker. And a lot of the people on Fiverr are not. Some of them, even if they say they are, they're still not. They are kind of using like a fake profile to say they're from the United States when they're really not. So you have to be a little careful with that. And you definitely want like a native English speaker, and find somebody that has really good reviews, that's done a lot of work already, that's made a fair amount of money on Elance, and use them, and maybe just do a quick interview with them, make sure that it's a good fit. But this page, there's a link to this in our group, and these are people that should do a much better job than somebody off of Fiverr. And the way that I would kind of figure out if I need this, like for my book, The Purpose Principle, I hired a copy editor to go through the whole book and clean it up for me. And I paid like $700 or $800 to do that. It really wasn't that bad, given that it was a 250 page book, and he was a full-time copy editor. So I thought that was pretty reasonable. But if you have a shorter little ebook that you want to have edited, you shouldn't have to spend that much. I mean, you could probably find somebody on this site who could do it for 20 bucks an hour, and might need to spend like 10 hours going through your document, and that's, you know, a couple $100. And the way that I would kind of figure out if it's worth it is if it's a printed book, like you're definitely publishing your book, you're going the self-publishing route, I would definitely do this. If it's an ebook and it's something that you're selling for more than like 10 bucks, I would definitely do it. If it's more or less like a lead generation tool, like it's a free ebook, I probably wouldn't worry about it so much. I wouldn't really care so much about hiring an editor or proofreader, because it's a free document. It's not something that I'm going to invest a ton of money in to get it out there. And same goes for like a $2.99 ebook, or just something that's, you know, 20 to 30 pages that's super cheap on like Kindle or other ebook platforms. I don't really worry about it too much. And, you know, it depends on how good of a writer you are too. If writing just really isn't your strength, and you're a lousy speller and grammar just isn't really your thing, just, you know, own that and know that you probably should outsource it and spend a little bit of money to get it cleaned up and polished. I mean, what you don't want is people refunding your book saying it was just too messy and it was obviously not professionally done. So, you know, I think you'd be pretty pleasantly surprised by how little of an investment it is to do editing from a site like Elance. And so, once again, the cool thing is that these people all have reviews. So you can read what other people said about working with them. You know, you can see how many other jobs that they've done. And even if you click through like this first person here, Amanda, she'll give you quite a bit of detail about what she does. And she can accommodate short notice projects, quick turnaround. She types 75 words per minute, which is really good. She does transcription. So yeah, I mean, a lot of these people can be like kind of all-in-one resources for you too. They can do the transcription, they can do the editing, they can do the proofing, and kind of give you, like if you use the Audio Acrobat to record yourself, what you want to do is pay them a little bit of extra money to basically just take care of the whole thing for you. Just say, look, can you just take this thing, transcribe it, clean it all up, edit it, and make it into more or less a finished product for me. So by the time I get it back, I literally have to do nothing to make this something I can put out into the world and take it live. That's ideal. That's going to cost you a little bit more, but for some of you guys that are more cramped on time, that's a really nice option. And honestly, that's maybe what I should have done with my last little project here. But I already have it transcribed, and I might just head over to somebody like Amanda on Elance and just have them clean it up for me a bit. So that's generally where I'd go to find a proofreader or editor. You can definitely use Fiverr too, and just try it and see see if you can have some success with that. So if I just typed editors into their search field, you'd use the same process. So find somebody that has good reviews for this, that has done it many, many times. So we see here, this person will do it for $5. They're going to do, yeah, and it looks like she's from the United States. So you might need to set up a few gigs to do that with her. She does the whole thing in 3 days. She only has had 8 people, but they've all given her positive reviews. So, you know, I mean, to me, that's a little more risky, but it's certainly cheaper. And, you know, certainly you could send her a message. There's a contact me space here on Fiverr where you can just, you know, even express some of your concern about using somebody on Fiverr for this purpose, and just see what she can do to alleviate your concerns. So you just have to decide what's best for you, you know, and figure it out. I think Elance is kind of more known for things like this, for editing and proofreading. So that's a very common project to have done on their site. So, and you don't actually have to pay until you get the delivered product and it's good. You know, you have to approve the product first before you relinquish the funds to the person. So you do have control over the entire process. So that's proofreading and editing in a nutshell. Let me open up the webinar here and just see if anybody has any questions about that. Doesn't look like it. Anybody want me to clarify anything else about proofreading or editing? Just type your question into the space there, and I'm happy to offer what I can. Let's see. The last thing that I wanted to talk about, print on demand, structuring your website. So we've had a few questions about this as well, which is, if I already have like a website set up for my business or my practice, and that's already established, do I need a new website for my book? And, I think I covered this a little bit already, but I just wanted to go a little deeper into that conversation to make sure that this is really clear for you guys. And also with fan pages. So some of you guys are asking, do I need a new fan page for my book to be an author, or can I do it off of my current page? So my general rule of thumb is that if it's at all humanly possible, only have one of everything. One website, one blog, one fan page, one Twitter account, one YouTube channel. And the reason I say that is because managing multiple anything online is a pain in the butt. And it's a lot of extra work, and it gets actually pretty confusing and kind of overwhelming trying to manage like multiple fan pages and blogs. And trust me on that one. I've kind of learned the hard way on that. And what you really want is one, central place where people can see you and read about you, and consume your content, not spread out amongst multiple sites. So if your book is at all related to the services that you offer, if it's, even remotely interrelated with your current business model, I would just put it on your website for now, on your practice or business website, and set up an entire page for your book. Make sure your book is front and center on the homepage, so it really stands out. And make sure you have a blog on that site so you can start blogging about your book, and even leaving little content snippets from your book. And the only real reason, and it's the same with your fan page. Like if your book is an extension of your practice, or if it's at all related, just do that. Just have one fan page, brand yourself, your personal name on your fan page, so you can incorporate everything under that umbrella, and try not to spread yourself too thin. The only real reason why you'd want to have a totally separate website or social media presence is if you're doing something totally unrelated to your current business. For a couple of you guys, I've seen that has been the case. Like Linda, for instance, she has a very successful practice, but her ebook is more for practitioners, and it wouldn't really make all that much sense to include that ebook within her practice website, because it's not consumers or prospective patients that should be buying that. It's other practitioners. And even then, I mean, that's not a hard and fast rule. You can certainly set it up so it's a hidden page on your site, and and you're marketing it just to practitioners. But if it's an unrelated topic, and it's going to maybe confuse your audience, then I would have a separate profile for it and a separate fan page, separate blog. And what you'd really need to decide at that point is, how can I structure this so it really works for me? And can I make it so I'm really devoting like 90% of my energy just to this new project, to this new blog and site, not having to scatter my energy all over the place with multiple pages, multiple blogs. That gets really frustrating for a lot of business owners, and it's actually counterproductive. So put it all under one central place if at all possible. And if it's not, then yeah, start a new blog, start a new fan page, but really make that your primary focus. You might just want to put the other stuff on the back burner for now, and not really worry about it or focus on it too much. If you do Facebook and social media and blogging the right way, you'll really only have time for one primary space to work on. I mean, you have to be kind of crazy like me to manage multiple sites and blogs and stuff. It's a lot. And I don't recommend it if at all possible. So that's my take on that. But let me know if you have any questions about your situation there and what you should do in terms of structuring your content. Let me see here. Okay, I'm Rosemary. How do I get my doc properly set up in PDF format? And do you recommend anyone in particular to do that? I would just head over to Fiverr to do that. So if you're sending it up as a PDF file, you would just give them your Word doc with any images that you want to use, and just say, can you please convert this into a PDF? You can do that on your own too. I mean, you can easily save Word docs into PDFs just from your own desktop, most likely. Generally, though, it's good to hire somebody, spend $5 to have that done professionally, though, because it's going to look a lot better. And also they'll be able, if you've had a cover done separately, they'll be able to take that cover and integrate it into the PDF file, okay? And that kind of segues into, I wanted to talk just briefly about PDF files and free downloads and things like that. Like if people, or even paid ones really, if people buy from your website and it's a PDF file, or they opt into your website and you're giving away like a free ebook, free lead generation tool, some of you have been a little confused about how that whole process works. Generally, what I recommend is having a web designer that you just outsource that entire thing to, and you just basically say, look, I'm creating a free ebook. I need to make sure that when people opt into my email list that I have a download link for them that they can access right away after requesting the ebook. So what your web designer is going to do is after you've had it designed on Fiverr and formatted into a PDF, you'll get that final file. You'd send that over to your web designer. What they're going to do is take that file and upload it to your server on your website. And then they're going to create a special download link right from your web server. So they would actually go into your like GoDaddy account or Bluehost, whatever it is, and do it from there. And then they'll give you a special link that basically creates like a new page off of your website. And when people type in that page or they click the URL for it, it just pops open the PDF file in their web browser. So I just have my web designer or Rachel or whoever do all of that stuff for me. I don't really worry about it. And then what you do, so after they create that special download link for your product, then what you do is you head over to Aweber or whatever email marketing service you're using. And when you're in Aweber, you would of course have your email list segmented for those specific people opting in. So you have email messages that are going to be going out to those people on a specific time intervals, right? So the first message somebody gets should be set at day 0, so it's given to them right away. So right when they leave their name and email, they're immediately sent an automatic email reply message that basically says, "Thanks for requesting my ebook. Here's the download link. Let me know if you have any questions. I hope you like it," that kind of thing. And then you just put the live link that your web designer created into your Aweber message. And that person's immediately sent that. They click on the link and it pops open in their web browser. So they get to literally start reading the ebook within seconds after requesting it. And it's really the same for a paid ebook. So if somebody buys an ebook through one shopping cart or any sort of online shopping cart you're using, you would have that payment configured to an autoresponder, like an email system. Like one shopping cart, it's all in one. So once they buy, it automatically triggers the follow-up email to be sent to them with the download link. And they'll get an immediate email to open that up. So it's just automatic. The other option there is after they buy it and they go through the payment process, the next page that pops up is called a thank you page. And that's on that page, you can have the download link sitting right there for them to just click it and start reading the ebook right there. So once again, I mean, that's where somebody like Rachel or a tech-savvy virtual assistant or web designer should just be able to knock all that out for you quickly. I wouldn't really be messing with that stuff yourself, even though it's not that hard to do it. It's just not really a skill you really need to develop. You should be focusing on other things, I think. So let me know if Rosemary, let me know if that answers your question. Or if you have anything else about that or anything about that whole delivery process of getting your customers or your leads to get your ebook link. It should all be done through an email marketing service like Aweber or Constant Contact or One Shopping Cart, though. And that's the best way to deliver those products to people for sure. Let me see here. Rosemary, I'm just getting to your follow-up question here. So I asked for a designer. Yeah. So you would go over to Fiverr. And hold on one sec. I'm actually on Fiverr. So I'd go here and I would just type in ebook formatting. And pretty much anybody on this page should do this for you quickly. So they'll do it I'll convert any Word to PDF or to iPad ebook format. So you can hire people to do it for iTunes as well here. Kindle, any of these people should be able to convert it into a PDF file really easily for you. So once again, just click on high rating and find somebody that has the best rating. So they're already recommended by a lot of people. And any of these people should help you out with that, okay? Clear as mud? Okay, Matthew, I'm going to your question next. Going back a moment. Yeah, Matthew, for formatting, I mean, it's really what I'm doing now. I mean, I would, if you want somebody to create a nicer format for your book, I mean, that's really what these people should be doing. So you would explain clearly what you need and what you're looking for. If you have an example that you wanted to shoot over to them of what, something very clear that you're wanting to see them do, that can help. But depending on how complicated the formatting process is for them, you may need to spend more than $5. They may need they may need you to do like 2 or 3 gigs to get that done. But that's generally what all of these people should help you do is format your book exactly how you want it. And once again, if you're just not satisfied with what you're seeing on Fiverr, you can also find a ton of graphic designers on Elance too. Generally, with Elance, you're going to pay a little bit more, but it's kind of like what you pay for sometimes, right? So you have to decide what your budget is for that and how you want to allocate the funds for it. But yeah, Elance can be a really good option for that as well. Okay, hold on. Lashonda talking about book design. Is this different than editing and copying, like you put out an example with the Chinese symbol as the watermark, etc.? Okay, so like you're talking about my book, I think they're correct. So in the purpose principle, I had a graphic designer actually custom design the entire interior of that book. And I actually traded with her for a period of about a year to get that done because she said that would have actually, she would have charged me close to $10,000 to do that, which is just insane. And I don't recommend that because she put hours and hours into that project, and she was kind of crazy and OCD about it. And I, I think she spent a little too long on it, but it took her 6 months of straight work to do that book. And you can tell it looks really nice. But I don't really recommend going that direction to have like a graphic designer do like a lot of custom design inside of your book. Keep it really simple for your first one. And especially if it's just an ebook, you do not need anything that fancy at all. Um, it's something that I would work up to in terms of making the interior layout a little bit more complicated like that. I mean, it does look nice, but it's not at all mandatory, okay? Same idea though, you can get on Elance. Probably Elance is better for something like that than Fiverr because it's more customized high-end work. And just see what happens. I mean, type in graphic designers who work on books and see if you can find a really good resource who would do it for a reasonable cost. And my book was 250 pages, so if yours is significantly shorter, shouldn't cost nearly what I was quoted at. So you might be pleasantly surprised there if you definitely feel like you want to go that route. So let me see what your follow-up question was, Lashonda. Hold on one sec. Oh yeah, you may have covered this at the beginning of the webinar. No, that's a good question you just asked. So I'm glad you mentioned that. Right now, it's all about simplicity. We just want to keep this all as simple as possible. Matthew, my books are chock full of illustrations. Once again, you'd want to maybe get some custom work done over at Elance on your book and just show somebody exactly what you're doing and just see if they can help you format it in the way you want. If you haven't already, I would actually have a conversation with Tiffany about that too over at 7Right and see if she could accommodate your situation as well because she might be able to help you out there as well. Let me see if I covered everything on my handy dandy list for you guys. Distribution, structuring website. Yeah, I'm just gonna hang out. Does anybody have any more questions before we wrap it up? Anything else I can clarify, or is everybody excited to get out there and do some guest blogging? Does that look like a strategy that you guys are going to partake in? I hope so. That's probably one of the very best ones right now that's working for authors, and it's it's always nice to find strategies that are more or less free. It just requires some time, not so much a few $1,000s upfront investment, which is great to have that. So cool. Let's leave it at that then for today. I think we covered a lot of ground, and hopefully this will clarify a lot of the process. But just shoot me a message in our group if you have any other questions, and I'm happy to help you out. And we have another month together, guys. Let's make it happen. So let's all heighten our focus and our intensity for this last month. Let me know what I can do to facilitate the process for you, and we'll keep moving forward, guys. And I can't wait to see all the finished products out there here coming up pretty quickly. So we'll talk soon, 2 more weeks, and I wish you guys the best, and have a great upcoming week. So let me know if there's anything I can do to help you out. We'll pick it up next time. Take care, guys. Bye-bye for now.